Hello everyone, and once again welcome back to the Chem School. Now if you remember, in the last class we have started with a chapter called as coordination compound, and I will try to cover each and every topic in coordination compound. But before starting with today's lecture, do not forget to understand each and every important term of coordination compound that I have covered in the last class, and I'm attaching the link for the same. Okay, so do watch that out. So today what are we going to cover? Today we are going to talk about classification of ligands. Okay, so in this thing we are trying to take more and more examples so that when you get a ligand, you know, okay, this is the ligand and this is going to be the name of the ligand. So let's get started. So now let's broadly understand the classification of ligands. Okay, and that is all you will get for the entrance exam as well as you see normal high school or graduation. Now, when you talk about classification of ligand, henceforth for ligands, I will use the symbol as capital L. Okay. Ligands are broadly classified into three types. That is, the first one is based on charge. Based on charge, you can have a neutral, positive or negative ligand. That is, if you have a neutral, it means it will not bear any charge. It is going to donate a pair of electron or lone pair donor. Okay. Now, when you say positive, it means it is going to be a cationic ligand. I repeat, it is going to be a cationic ligand, and being a cationic ligand, it can donate the lone pair, but somewhere it will have a positive charge. Okay. The next one is negative. That is, when you say negative, it is going to be an anionic ligand. And in anionic ligand, if it has a lone pair, it can donate the lone pair or it can donate the negative charge. Either of those. Okay, so I repeat, the time you say based on charge, the ligand, if it has no charge, okay, then it is called as neutral ligand. If it has a positive charge somewhere in the molecule, then it is called as a cationic ligand. If it has a negative charge somewhere, then it is called as an anionic ligand or negatively charged ligands. Is that clear? The next one is based on denticity. Okay. Now, the time you talk about denticity and chelation, I will explain this term later on. But as of now, based on denticity, you can have two types of ligands. That is, it can either be a monodentate ligand or it can be a polydentate ligand. Now, what do you mean by monodentate ligand? It means it will form only one coordination bond. Okay, so when you have the central metal atom and the ligand, if there is only one bond between them, okay, or this particular ligand is donating only one pair of electron to the metal, then it is called as monodentate. But if the ligand is donating more than one pair, then you will say it is polydentate. Okay, so based on the ligand, a ligand which is donating one pair of electron is a monodentate ligand, and a ligand which is donating more than one pair of electron is going to be a polydentate ligand. Now, in polydentate ligand, the usual types are bidentate, it means it will donate two pairs of electrons. Tridentate, donating three pairs of electron. Tetradentate, donating four pairs of electron. Pentadentate, five pair, and hexadentate, six pair. Okay, so let's recall this and write it once again. I repeat, the time you say monodentate, okay, so it means it is going to donate one pair of electron. Okay, polydentate, we said is more than one pair. Okay, in that, with respect to ligand, okay, so bidentate, this ligands will donate two pair of electrons. Okay, tridentate will donate three pairs of electrons. Tetra, four pairs. You can make out from the name itself, right? Penta is five pairs. And the time you talk about hexa, it is going to be six pairs. Okay, six pairs of what? Electron. Okay, so each ligand is going to donate that many pairs of electron. Okay, now the next one. The last type, this is very rarely heard, but you should know about them. Okay, so the last one or last classification is interaction between the ligand and the central atom. Okay, so when you have the central atom and the ligand, the interaction can be classical or it can be non-classical. Now, what do you mean by that? We will talk about this in detail later on, but I hope now the classification is very clear. So once again, let's recall this. Ligands can be classified broadly into three types: based on charge, right? Based on denticity, that is how many pair of electrons they are donating, and based on the interaction between the ligand and the central metal atom. So based on charge, you will have positively charged ligand, which is cationic, negatively charged, that is anionic or neutral. Based on denticity, you can have one pair donor, that is monodentate ligand, or multiple pair donor, that is polydentate ligand, and these are the types. Okay, and in the last one you will have classical and non-classical ligands. So let's talk about each of them in detail with few examples. So let's talk about the examples of the first type, that is based on the charge. Now if you talk about neutral ligands, we said that neutral ligands are going to be lone pair donors. Okay, so I repeat, the neutral ligands are going to be lone pair donors. Okay, and the example are as follows. So you have carbon monoxide, okay, ammonia. Now they have lone pair of electrons, and that lone pair can be donated. Okay, fine. So now you have carbon monoxide. Either carbon can donate the pair of electron or oxygen can donate the pair of electron. They are called as ambidentate ligand. We'll talk about them later. Okay, so carbon as well as oxygen both can be the donor. Here nitrogen will be the donor in ammonia. In water, oxygen will be the donor. In hydroxylamine, that is NH2OH, nitrogen will be the donor. In methylamine, again nitrogen will be the donor. Okay. Now when you talk about cationic ligands, we said that somewhere they will have the positive charge, and remember, the molecule or the atom that has the positive charge will not donate. I repeat, the atom with the positive charge will not donate electron because it is electron deficient. How can it donate electron? Okay, so just keep that in mind. So when you talk about NO plus, which is called as nitrocilium ion, whenever you have this IUM, remember that this is related something to cation, ammonium, right, oxenium, nitronium, similarly nitrocilium. So they are cationic. The name says that they are cationic. Okay, so oxygen cannot be the donor here, so definitely nitrogen is going to donate a pair of electron, but because it is donating a lone pair, you cannot say it is neutral. Why? Because somewhere it has a positive charge. Now N2H5 plus, it is hydrazinium. Why? Because when you talk about NH2, this is hydrazine. Okay, now let's say one of the lone pair is donated to hydrogen or to proton. When it is donated to proton, you will say it becomes NH3. Okay, so this lone pair is donated to a proton, therefore this nitrogen will bear a positive charge. So the nitrogen has already donated the pair of electron, so it cannot behave as donor anymore. So the other nitrogen which is adjacent will behave as a donor. Is this clear? Fine. So here this nitrogen will donate a pair of electron while this cannot, but because this entire molecule is having a positive charge, therefore it is going to be a cationic ligand. And remember, for calculating the oxidation number, the charge is important. You should remember that hydrazinium has +1 charge, okay, nitrocilium has +1 charge. So you have to remember this because it is going to play a very important role in oxidation number and your IUPAC nomenclature of coordination compound. So try to memorize this. Anionic ligand, if you say Cn minus, which is cyanide, okay, then NO2 minus, which is nitrite, OH minus, which is hydroxide, NO3 minus, which is nitrate. So NO2 minus nitrite, NO3 minus nitrate. Okay, so just remember that. Then X minus, you have the halides, that is fluoride, chloride and bromide. Then O2 minus is going to be your oxide. So this was your first classification, that is based on charge. Try to memorize the examples. The examples was the one to focus on. So now let's talk about the monodentate and polydentate ligands classification with examples. Okay, so the examples, again I repeat, is to focus on. In monodentate ligand, remember that all the denticity, when you're talking about all these ligands, they can be either neutral, they can be cationic, or they can be anionic. Okay, so in this you can say that is going to be a subtype. Okay, so monodentate, I can repeat that it is going to be neutral. Like you can see water, ammonia, we said it was neutral, chloride, it was anionic, right, and hydrazinium ion, that was cationic. So these are all going to donate only one pair of electron. Here they are going to donate one lone pair. Here it is going to donate a negative charge. Here it is going to donate this pair of electron. Okay, and therefore since it is donating only one pair of electron, therefore it is going to be a monodentate, or you can say it is a unidentate ligand. I hope this is very clear. Let's focus on polydentate ligand. Okay, poly, it means multiple, yes or no, or many. So many dentate ligands. Okay, so if you have one pair, we said it is going to be monodentate. So two pair is going to be bi, three tri, four tetra, 5 penta, and 6 hexa. We know that. Okay, now let's see how it is donating that. So I have taken some examples over here, and these examples are very important. Okay, so that is what you need to understand. Now have a look at the first example, this one. Okay, now if you see CH2, okay, that is that ethylene group or ethylene group. So you have ethylene group and you have two amine, that is NH2. So you will say it is ethylene or ethylene 2 amine, therefore diamine. So the name becomes ethylene diamine. Remember this symbol because while writing down the formula of a complex or a coordination complex, you will need this. Okay, fine. So ethylene diamine can be represented as En. Okay, and the structure will be this. We said that it is a bidentate ligand. So which pair of electron it is going to donate? You know that nitrogen has a pair of electron, that is lone pair. These are the pair that is going to get donated. So since it is donating 2 pair of electron, you will say it is bidentate. Now you can see it is donating lone pair. So lone pair donors, there is no charge on the molecule, therefore it is going to be a neutral one. So ethylene diamine is neutral bidentate ligand. The next one, oxalato. Oxalato is nothing but oxalic acid. If you just remove the protons, you will get this. So COH twice is oxalic acid. Just remove the H, you get oxalato or oxalic acid ion. Okay, now you can see in this you have O minus because the H has gone from here. So you can see that this is the one that is going to get donated. Okay, so it is donating 2 negative charges. So oxalato or oxalic acid ion can be represented by the symbol OX, and it is an anionic because negative charge is getting donated, or in the molecule you have a negative charge. So it is anionic bidentate ligand. Clear? The next is tridentate. So in tridentate, I have taken this example. Now have a look at this. CH2, 1 ethylene, 2 ethylene. So you have 2 ethylene, therefore diethylene. Okay. Count the nitrogen you have. 1, 2, and 3. 3 nitrogen, therefore triamine. So diethylene, triamine. And the symbol will be diene based on this. Okay. So diene. Let's see which electrons are getting donated. Okay, so you have 3 nitrogen, so 3 pair of electron, and that can be donated. So that gets donated to the central metal atom, whichever is present. So you can see it can donate 3 pair, therefore it is tridentate, and you can see again it has no charge, therefore it is going to be a neutral ligand. Okay, next one, triethylene tetramine. Now this is very clear, yes or no? Okay, and don't make a bond between this nitrogen. Terminal nitrogen are not connected to each other. You can see nitrogen has 3 valencies, so I have written NH2 and a bond here. It means there is nothing in between here. Okay, just take care of that. So triethylene, so CH2, if you see CH2, 1 unit, 2 unit, and 3 unit, and all are connected by nitrogen. Okay, so this is nitrogen, second nitrogen, third and fourth, the terminal ones which are free. Okay, so since you have 4 nitrogen, 4 pair can be donated, and since 4 pair can be donated, it is going to be a tetradentate ligand. Again, nitrogen is a neutral molecule, or nitrogen is a neutral atom. Therefore, this is going to be a neutral molecule, no charge on the molecule, or neutral ligand. The next one, similarly, pentadentate. I have taken tetraethylene and connect all of them by nitrogen. This is what you will get, and the symbol for that will be tetraene. Okay, so ene is only 1 ethylene, diene 2 ethylene plus 1 nitrogen. Okay, so if it is only ethylene, you have 2 nitrogen, so diamine. Okay, now diethylene, then triamine, triethylene, tetramine. If it is tetraethylene, then pentamine. So we stop here. The last example is very, very important. Okay, so have a look. It has only 1 ethylene, so CH2 only 1. They are again connected to nitrogen, but the nitrogen is connected to carboxylic acid, COH group. Okay, so each nitrogen has like acetic acid group, so CH2COH group. So check, nitrogen, with 2 acetate group, nitrogen with 2 acetate group. So total there are 4 acetate group. Okay, so that is what we need to remember. 4 acetate group plus 2 nitrogen. So how many donors you have? You have 6 donors, and therefore it is hexadentate ligand. I will just underline all the donors in this molecule so you are very clear about that. So the nitrogen will be one donor. This nitrogen will be the second donor. Okay. Then the negative charge 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay. They will just hold the molecule, the central atom inside, and in between you will have the central metal atom. So it is very well surrounded. Okay. Or the central metal atom is very well surrounded by this particular ligand, and this is called as EDTA. Now you can see EDTA name I have written over here because you have 1 ethylene, 2 nitrogen, therefore diamine, and you have 4 acetate group, therefore tetraacetate ion. Okay, the charge will be 4 minus because of the acetate ion. So in short, this is known as EDTA. Okay, with a charge of 4 minus. Very important molecule. Okay, we'll talk about that much in the future. I hope this is very clear to all of you, and you will be able to classify the ligands. Okay, so if you talk about the type, this is neutral, anionic or cationic. Just check the charge. You have a negative charge, therefore it is going to be an anionic ligand. Hope so this is very clear. Okay, try to write it and practice. Now when we talk about the denticity, okay, there are some other types that you can talk about, okay, and which are usually not spoken about. In this ambidentate people talk about, sometimes, but the other two are very rarely known. So we'll try to cover all of them. So when you talk about denticity, we said monodentate and polydentate. In that only we are going to talk about 3 other types, that is chelating ligands, ambidentate ligands and flexidentate ligands. Let's understand what they mean. Now when you talk about chelating ligand, chelate is to form a ring or to form a cycle. Chelation means to hold. Okay, so what is happening? Now if you talk about this platinum, what is happening to this platinum? Now if you talk about a crab, okay, when a crab holds its prey, okay, so what it will do? Now suppose this is the prey. How will the crab hold the prey? Okay, it will hold it like this, yes or no, with its limbs. So now this action or this holding phenomena, this is chelation. Why? You can see one circle is formed here, the other circle is formed here. So there are 2 rings that is formed. So whenever you have anything which is holding, okay, in coordination compound, we use the term chelation, okay, or chelates. So here we are using it for the ligands. And what is the prey over here? The central metal atom. Okay, so it is chelating this central metal atom. Okay, or it is holding this central metal atom. So you can see ethylene diamine, one ethylene diamine holding the platinum from this side, while other ethylene diamine holding the platinum from the other side. Okay, now why chelation is important? Remember, higher the chelation, okay, more stable will be the complex formed. Why? Because the central metal atom will be more firmly hold. Now remember a monodentate ligand. Suppose this is the central metal atom and I am trying to hold this. Okay, now you can imagine that this is very, it's not going to be very stable because it can fall out anytime. Yes or no? So it is not going to be very, very strong bondage, right? But if I am going to hold it this way, okay, now this is comparatively more stable or comparatively more stronger than the first one. Okay, so the stability of the complex is very important, and chelation is one factor of that. Higher the degree of chelation, more will be the stability of the complex. Okay, so when you talk about bidentate and tridentate, which one is going to chelate more? Tridentate. So tridentate ligand, if you have, the chelation will be more, so the stability of the complex will be more. Let's say I have tetradentate ligand and I have a hexadentate ligand, which will chelate more? The hexadentate, and therefore the stability of that particular is going to be more. It means EDTA is going to be form a very, very strong structure, a very, very stable structure. Okay, so chelation is nothing but holding phenomena of the ligand to the central metal atom, thereby forming rings. Okay, so this ring formation is nothing but chelation. Okay, and the ligand is called as chelating ligand. The next one, ambidentate ligand. Let's keep it very simple. It means I have a choice. Okay, now if I take cyanide, C or N, at a time I can donate only one. Okay, I repeat, at a time I can donate only one. So if I donate the C, cyanide, if I donate the electron from nitrogen, isocyanide. Okay, this type of ligands are called as ambidentate ligand. I repeat, ambidentate ligands are the ligands which has more than one donor site, but at a time they can donate only one pair. Okay, so can ligate from two atoms. Okay, that is form bonds, but form coordinate bond. Okay, but at a time only one can be donated. So I have taken some example. So Cn and Nc, whichever is written first will be the donor. So in Cn minus C will be the donor, in Nc minus N will be the donor. Similarly, in other cases, NO2 minus N will be the donor, and O and O minus, I have written O first, so O will be the donor. Okay. Similarly, thiocyanate, so S will be the donor here, and here nitrogen will be the donor. C will be the donor here, and here N will be the donor. The last one is flexidentate. So from the name you can understand this is going to be flexible. Okay, so this type of ligands can donate multiple electrons, okay, if they want, or they can donate one, their choice. Okay, so you can see sulfate, it has 2 O minus, it can donate both, its choice. Okay, or it can end up donating only one. Okay, depending upon the spatial arrangement of the central metal atom. So such type of ligand, okay, which can, see what is the difference over here. Here there is no choice, like one of them will be attached. Okay, one of them will be attached, they will form only one donor, it will be only monodentate. But over here if you check, they can be bidentate or they can be monodentate. Okay, EDTA, if you say hexadentate, it can donate all 6 pair of electron, or it can end up donating only 4. Okay, so if it donates 4, it is going to be tetradentate. So EDTA is also a flexidentate ligands. Okay, so all the polydentate ligands can behave as a flexidentate ligands. Is this clear? Because they are flexible. I hope this is very clear. Here and here, what's the difference? Here the atom is getting changed. Okay, here the atom is not getting changed. I hope this is very clear to all of you. Okay, so this was extra classification in density. So let's talk about the last one, or the last type in detail. The last type was based on the bonding interaction. Okay, that's the complete name. So it is based on the bonding interaction between the ligands and the central metal atom. Now what can happen? Two things can happen. That is, it can only be a lone pair donor. The ligand can only be a lone pair or electron pair donor. Let's see. In this case, only the negative pair electron is donated. Only the negative pair electron is donated. Only the negative pair electron is donated. Only the lone pair is donated. Okay, so they are only electron donors, electron pair donors. So such type of ligands are called as classical ligands, or they are called as simple ligands. But there's a much complicated version, and that is the non-classical ligands. So when you talk about the non-classical ligands, they are also called as pi acids, or they are called as pi acceptor ligands. Now what is happening in this case? In this case, now let's say you have, let's say that this is the central atom and this is the ligand. So what happens? They donate electron, okay, but at the same time they also accept electron from the central atom, thereby forming a much stronger hold. Okay, I repeat, thereby forming a much stronger and a stable complex. Okay, so you should remember that compared to them, this will always be a stronger ligand. Okay, I repeat, compared to the classical ligand, the non-classical ligand is always going to be a stronger ligand. Okay, now what is happening in this case? As I said, okay, this phenomena, what I said, is called as back bonding. Okay, they are donating a lone pair, at the same time they are also accepting electron cloud from the central atom. Okay, and these are the examples, okay, for this type of non-classical ligands. Now this is very important phenomena that is called as back bonding, and we will cover this in detail in the next class. Okay, so don't forget to watch that out. Okay, so before ending the class, I again repeat that we have classified all the ligands on 3 types, based on 3 types. We said that it can be based on charge, it can be based on the density, and it can be based upon this interaction between the ligands and the central atom. Try to write down this and practice all the examples. See you soon in the next class with back bonding concept. Thank you.